You good to go?
Let's go.
So I have Mark Dsouza with me, the HR of Sony Middle East, and in the field for 34 years. And thank you so much, Mark, for joining us in our show.
Thank you for having me over.
So this is a series. So this is the first of 3 series.
Okay.
And we're going to speak on entry level for jobs. This may be for fresh graduates, for the ones who are looking out to jump in jobs.
Sure.
And let's speak about interns as well.
Okay.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on interns coming in?
I think it's a good concept to have, and if the company can manage. Now, there are some companies that are very tight on headcount. So typically, if you bring an intern and they believe that if you're not able to give the person to learn anything, then it's better not to bring the person in. So it's a matter of a view. Or some say that, hey, I got free labor. Why not bring them in? Because most companies or some companies don't pay interns. So it's free labor to do donkey work. So having an intern is good, because tomorrow if you need a person to fill up a position, you already have somebody in mind as the person finishes his college. So that's one. 2, if you're talking about a fresh graduate, not a master's person who's just done his graduation, he or she should be absolutely open to working in any field. My view is that choose the good company, choose a company that will help you grow. Take the job or any job that they are willing to get you into. It's a learning phase. When you have that, look if the company offers job rotations within career growth. Because when you are in the company, you have the opportunity to move. Now, I know companies that people have moved from warehouse helpers to general managers. So there is always a possibility. All you need to do is be good at what you do, stand out, show initiative, and give good feedback whenever you ask. Don't delay. Simple things to do in the current job. You will grow. Now, in terms of a master's person, now they are very specialized, and obviously they want to go only into the field they are in. If they're lucky and they've got an internship, good for them. Otherwise, they restrict themselves to certain things. But therefore, you see people who are doing finance sometimes even get into marketing. I've seen that happen in the companies I've worked. So although they're doing masters, it's a very general program up to a certain level. So they are flexible depending on the company to take in. But yeah, the company has to have a view that they don't mind people with certain backgrounds. Like some companies have marketing where a lot of number work is required. So a person with finance helps because they have the number knowledge and they're able to analyze information. So as a postgraduate, again, if you're open to doing any job, great. Otherwise, if you're looking for specific jobs, you'll need to give yourself time. Today's market, the jobs are a few for the ones you want. There are plenty of jobs, but not the ones you may want. So you need to be open.
I was going to go and ask you whether it's an employer's market or employee's market, but that said it. So you're saying that there are jobs, but not necessarily for the one that you're specifically looking for if you're being choosy.
Employers are now very choosy about the people they take. Now jobs are becoming more... headcounts are reduced, so they are bringing in people on contract. So if you're open to working as a third-party person somewhere else, take it. Now, in that case, the salary may not be high. But if you are good at what you do, A, they will make sure in time to take you on board. B, if they don't, you would have learned something and you have experience, which means you can go somewhere else. So take what you can. Employers are not taking everybody. There are jobs, but not the one you want. I can see that happening today in the market.
And what does the future look like? Is it going to be similar, or would they go for a full-time employee?
It's absolutely going to be the same. In fact, companies will reduce the permanent headcount and move to contract because every company is looking at how they can manage business at a lower cost. Mm-hmm. So they are moving, all are moving out. And typically, many jobs are being replaced by AI. So it's going to happen. You're going to find that even HR for tomorrow, you may have just one person and the remaining will all be outsourced. Mm-hmm. HR has a lot of confidential information, and that's why some of them are not sure. But believe me, it's changing. Let's take finance, for example. Today, things are outsourced to India, to Philippines. The back office is gone. So they are slowly changing, and that's going to happen across the board. Maybe sales, you won't see that happening because you want somebody who's committed on the field. Marketing, you may want somebody who's committed to the field. But most back office, supply chain, they're slowly outsourcing. At least the big companies that I know of.
When you said look for a good company, what if someone does not get a good company and just gets a foothold on one? Your advice to them?
My advice is take what comes your way. If you come to the UAE to work, take the job that will help you survive. Now, yes, please look at your salary. Okay, you need money to survive. If it's not going to help you survive, then it obviously makes no sense. Take the job. The first couple of years will be a struggle. But what you learn there will give you immense value at the next place. I'm assuming you're going to stand out, you're going to show initiative, you're going to be different from the others. You will do well. There's no way that you won't do well. And then you can move to other companies.
So how does one take the approach? How do they start? What are the best practices to get a job?
Okay, as a fresh graduate, you need to look at every possible opportunities. Get onto LinkedIn, visit education fairs where they have job fairs, talk to people, known, unknown, get to know as many people as you want, meet recruiters. You have to look at every opportunity. 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. That 99% you need to put in. If you don't, then you're out of the market because somebody's doing exactly this and will beat you to it.
And how much can a CV justify a person or a personality?
The CV is more of a entry level to the company because today everybody's if you look at LinkedIn, it picks up words. So if your CV doesn't have specific words, you won't get picked up. If the recruiter sees your CV, he will look at particular words and forward your CV. So there is a requirement that those specific words should be there. Now that CV should be a true reflection of yourself. Don't just put words that mean nothing or just you've put them there for people to read you. Because when you get to the interviewing stage, there's psychological testing and in-depth competency-based interviews. At that time, the questions that are asked are in-depth about the work you've done, the kind of achievements you have done, and the whys. For everything, it'll be, why did you do this? So you have to have a justification, a reason for what you did. Now, if you've not done it, you will be stumped, you will be exposed, and you will feel funny at the end of the day. The interviewer will know that you have no knowledge. Now, there are some people who say they've done so much that is even better than an MD. And believe me, it's very easy to pick that up. So be true to yourself. Your resume should be a reflection of you and the work you've done. Don't fib.
So what if there's interview pressure? So some people they do really well, but they don't interview well. Introvert, for example.
It could happen, but that's where the HR skills come into play. As soon as you ask a few questions, you can see a person stumbling. It happened to me in a company in India. I was doing law at that time, and I went for the interview. I was blank. In fact, I did the first interview, and I was supposedly the best candidate. So when I went for the second interview, for some reason, it was a panel. First time in my life, I did not answer one question, and I mean literally. So it can happen. But you're out. It's no fault. They have to choose the best they can. Having said that, when you are interviewing and if you don't answer your questions, now, for example, if I start an in-depth questioning about you, I will ask not just one, but many questions. And if you can't answer all of it, either you don't know, you're out. If you have interview pressure, also you're out. It's no fault. But we can't take on somebody who we can't judge. Just based on a CV, not possible.
So what advice would you give to someone who might go into that phase?
Very difficult to answer because if you are really nervous, then I think you need to look at not a great company. I'm being very honest. Because you won't survive. If you can't handle the pressure, then you're not fit for that job upfront.
Your thoughts on freelancers? I know you said contract-based employment, but what about freelancers?
This is rather new concept to Dubai. Now, you see, there is a funny thing to this, which I don't know how many freelancers know, Normally, if you're an employee of the company, you have the support of the labor department. When you're a freelancer, you don't have the support of any labor department. So what you do is if you sign a contract, now I don't know about the Dubai part since I'm from the free zones, the contract is between you and the company. Should anything go wrong, you'll need to fight it in court. That's what I understand the law is today. So as a freelancer, you have the opportunity not only to work for one company, you can work for many companies. But most companies will be uncomfortable with the fact you can work with another company. So they'll probably put a non-competition clause because they want to make sure that you don't work with somebody else. That's competition. So having a freelancer, there is a good and bad. But if you ask me, there's no harm in it as long as you have someone who's genuine. Like I said, if I'm looking at third party, what's the harm in having a freelancer? There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. I see no issue in having a freelancer. But how many companies would want that is a question. Today, even with the golden visa, what I understand, some companies are not very comfortable with people taking golden visa because of the same logic that you can probably set up your own company and work for somebody else. What if you pass on secrets?
Online presence, social media and LinkedIn. Say, for example, if I want to apply to a company and there's a Mark Dsouza there, would they be checking my personal social media?
Actually, we do.
Okay.
Actually, when I shortlist a person, I actually try and see who the person is online.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important. Two, it's a trick which can go one way or the other. If you know who's the interviewer,
Mm-hmm.
try and connect with him. What's the harm in that?
Right.
You just want to have a top of the mind recall.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm saying it's a touch and go, because there are some people who would feel, why is he getting in touch with me? Whereas some will say, hey, it's fine, let him get in touch with me, I get to know more about him. There's no harm, but it's not, there's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's a call or risk you take. So having that presence online, being top of the mind, either on social media or whatever, it's important because people like me do check you out.
With that being said, imagine there's something mentioned on the social media which has nothing to do with the company, but it's a person's personal preference, or they make certain kind of statements. Do you think that would
If they are religious based, I would be uncomfortable, because that is personally, I believe that religion should be kept out of all of this. It's a personal choice. If you've made a personal preference about your lifestyle, that's your choice. I have nothing to do with that, because no company, today we are talking about diversity and inclusion. I'm not worried about those aspects. But anything that can malign the company, for example, if it was my company, then yes, I would be uncomfortable because I don't know how this can get about. For example, let us say you make statements about certain countries and you need to travel to that country. You know, today it's all monitored when you go for visa. So I am a little worried that, there could be a restriction. So to that extent, I would be uncomfortable.
The reason I bring this up is because the youth is very strong about their opinions.
Very vocal.
They're very vocal, yes. They believe in many things. And again, it's their choice to do so. But they also should know that everything has its consequences.
Everything has consequences. See, today's youth, for example, if you look at as an interviewee, they're very forthright. They want to know, do you have work from home? How often do I have to come to office? What's my salary? Because that's the way they've been brought up. They are very demanding about things. They even judge companies based on how they got in touch with them, how they connected with them, what's the feedback they give, and they're right about it. So if you look at LinkedIn, you'll see how bad they didn't respond to me. They actually are very vocal. Now, nothing wrong in that because that's a company. But when you start talking about religion, politics, then it gets a little out of hand. So you need to be careful. For example, some of them come dressed differently. So basically, they need to be dressed for the job. You can't come dressed in toned jeans for an interview that is marketing, because you need to represent the company at different levels. You have different business partners to meet, so you need to be dressed for the job. You can't come with long hair that is unruly and, looking shabby, ruffled. You need to present yourself. You need to be dressed appropriately for the job. For example, if it's a creative job, then it's in the mind of people that you come in jeans, this is the way you dress because you work from home. That's acceptable. Dress for the job.
What are the traits that you would look for in an individual?
Absolutely. Amazing question. When a person comes there, the first thing I'm looking at is how he's speaking. Can he communicate clearly? Does he understand what I'm asking? So as an possible employee, do not interrupt when he's speaking. Because very often in the eagerness to answer, you're cutting short a question and you're assuming what the person's asking. So let the person speak. If you're not clear, ask questions to clarify. That makes me more confident that you're actually thinking, because this will also give you time to think of what to answer me. And once you have a clarity in what I want, you're able to answer. Quite often, employees or to-be employees go around the world, around the bush. They don't answer the question because they've not understood and they're just trying to blurt out. Don't do that. Take your time. At an interview, it's not an inquisition. It's about trying to understand you. So you want yourself to be seen in the proper light. Speak your mind, speak calmly, speak slowly. Another thing is they tend to talk fast out of nervousness. Don't hurry. Again, the man sitting across you is also human, just like you. What was the worst that will happen? You won't get the job. Try somewhere else, but learn from that.
So how do you make the interviewee feel, Mark?
It happens so often because, I do ask questions that can make you uncomfortable. And I mean, that's my line of questioning. I get into it, I throw a spin suddenly and I try and see your reaction. So I can make you uncomfortable because it's all to get you out of your comfort zone. When I notice that the person's uncomfortable or the person speaking too fast or not thinking, I give them a chance. I say, take your time. I'm going to ask you the question again, but you're going to need to think and answer me. So I do not, knock a person off just because he's given one wrong answer. I actually tell them, take your time, think about it, and then answer. Because what you're saying may not make sense. So think. So you need to make a person comfortable. Now, when a person walks in, some of them start stuttering. So you first give them water and you talk about everything normal that is happening. How did you come to the office? Was it difficult? Who's at home? Very general questions. Actually, when you talk about family or something of their interest, it's all about calming them down. So you need to get in that area first. Don't just go straight out and, it's a very uncomfortable feeling for them.
Can you tell us about the salary and breakdown of it? What do you think is a good salary?
What is a good salary is very relative. A person at a senior level say 30,000 is not good enough. I should have 50. A person at that level say 50 is not good enough. I should need 60. So salary is very relative. But when you are accepting an offer, do one thing. You see the numbers on the salary. Look at what is not costed. For example, sometimes they may provide you a meal in the office. That's not costed. Cost that. Because at the end of the day, if the company is providing you lunch, you're not paying for it. Then they may provide you transport and no transport allowance. Cost that. Just in one company, you were getting transport allowance. Cost and see if this transport value is equal to or better. Look at the distance you're traveling. It could take time because somebody coming from Sharjah to maybe a free zone will take time. Traveling to Sharjah back and forth is time. See if the amount of time you're spending, add a value. You decide. There's no way right or wrong. You need to add a value to it. At the end of the day, if you feel that costing plus what I'm getting is making sense to you, you should take the offer. Finally, decide again about the company, your learning, and the growth opportunity within the company. Sometimes you need to take a step backwards to make sure your career goes forward. So if you find the salary is break even or just about good, but you feel the learning is good, take it. Because all of them have review systems, a process in place. Salary will grow over time, but look at how you can grow. If you look at a career, salary will grow along with it. Don't worry about it.
Any advice that you have for the ones who are looking out for jobs, be it freshly graduate, new to Dubai, or looking for better prospects?
Fresh graduates, please go with an open mind. Don't close yourself to any opportunity that comes your way. If that company is one that can give you an opportunity to grow and you can learn, if you find that job is something that you'd like to do, take it up, even if it's not in your field. For those who are masters, again, it's good to want to get into your field, but if you're getting into a company which is giving you something different, take it, because most multinationals have job rotations. So in a couple of years, if you're good, you will be rotated. This is the same for anybody coming into the country. When you come into the country, you come with the hopes of your past experience. If you get something, good, take it. But if you're not getting it, check if the money you're getting is worth your while staying in the country and working, or you would prefer to go back home. Because beyond a point, you will be frustrated. And then you will make the mistake of taking something just to survive. Here the laws, to change your visa may take you time. So take your time. If not, you must go back home.
Mark, thank you so much for your time. We touched on for beginners, for the ones who are looking out for jobs. And next month, we're going to speak on the ones who already have a job and how the workings of it.
No problem. Thank you so much.